Welcome back to Lover Coin and Treasure Hunter. Today we're diving into the world of Canadian coin collecting to reveal the top 3 most valuable Canadian 5-cent coins. And trust me, some of these nickels are worth way more than 5 cents. If you've ever wondered whether that old nickel in your drawer could be worth big money, you're definitely going to want to watch this. Let's jump straight into the countdown and see which rare Canadian 5-cent coins could make you rich. Let's get started. First up, the Canadian 5-cent coin, nickel, features the beaver design on the reverse and Queen Elizabeth II on the obverse. For the 1976 coin, the mintage, no mint mark, is listed as 55,140,213 according to the NGC price guide. This large number means it was a common circulation issue for its year. Because of that high mintage, even uncirculated examples aren't extremely rare, but condition still matters. For the 1976 no mint mark 5-cent coin, it is struck in nickel for that era and designed with a beaver on a rock on the reverse by George E. Kruger Gray. On the obverse, the Queen's bust appears by Arnold Mackin. To verify no mint mark, one would look under the date or near the effigy to see that there is no extra letter indicating a branch, such as W, etc. For an uncirculated coin, you're looking for full luster, no wear on high points, clean fields, and minimal contact marks. So what is the value of a 1976 Canadian 5-cent, no mint mark, in uncirculated condition? According to one guide, in circulated condition this date is very modest. Their prices indicate as low as ca 20 cents in heavily worn condition. For uncirculated, MS, or mint state examples, value may range higher, but because the mintage is high, values aren't extremely elevated. One price guide shows up to about ca $16 for uncirculated examples of this date. So in USD or Pakistan rupees terms, you'd adjust accordingly. What makes an uncirculated coin worth more or less? Key factors: the strike quality, sharpness of details like the beaver's fur, the date, the rim, the presence of full luster, original mint sheen, minimal bag or handling marks, no corrosion or toning that detracts, and original surfaces, no cleaning. Also, whether it's graded by a professional grading service can boost value. Because this date is common, coins with flaws will still be valued low, but high-end, gem uncirculated pieces will command premiums. Even though the price guide might list up to ca $16 for an uncirculated 1976 nickel, you should be realistic. Most retail sales may happen for less, especially in a less-than-perfect uncirculated state. The market demand for common-date nickels is modest. So if someone is offering you one for ca $30 or more, you'll want to check condition carefully, verify whether it's truly uncirculated, and whether it's graded. Also be aware of shipping, import duties, if you're in Pakistan, and overall coin market conditions. If you enjoy this deep dive into coins like this 1976 Canadian nickel, then please subscribe to my channel, hit the like button, and ring that notification bell so you don't miss future videos. I'll be covering many more dates, varieties, mint marks, and condition guides, including Canadian coins, world coins, and tips for collectors in Pakistan and around the world. Feel free to leave comments. If you own one of these coins, tell me its grade, where you got it, and maybe show a photo. Let's go through a quick how to examine your coin segment. First, check the date, 1976. Confirm there is no mint mark under or near the date for this issue. Then inspect the rim and lettering for softness of strike. Examine the beaver's body and rock details. For uncirculated pieces, you should see full original mint luster. Avoid those dull or with heavy bag marks. Use a magnifier and good lighting. Avoid cleaning the coin, that reduces value. If you're unsure, consider submitting to a grading service like Numismatic Guarantee Corporation, NGC, or Professional Coin Grading Service, PCGS. Knowing a coin is graded MS 63, MS 65, etc. really helps with market confidence. Since you're in Rawalpindi, Pakistan, remember some extra details. Shipping/import duties may apply if you order from overseas. Also, verify authenticity. Ensure the coin is not counterfeit. Since the 1976 nickel is common, there's less risk of rare date scam, but condition claims, e.g., Gem MS67, should be backed by good photos or grading. It's also helpful to compare to local market supply. Sometimes local coin shops or auctions may have examples for a more modest price than importing. Check references in Canadian coin catalogs, e.g., Charlton Standard Catalog, and talk to local collector groups. You might ask, why bother collecting such a common date? Well, even common coins are the backbone of a good collection. They teach you the basics of condition, grading, and market pricing without huge investment. Also, if you can acquire a truly high-end uncirculated example of a common date, you'll get familiar with what top grade looks like. For the 1976 5-cent piece, it represents the mid-1970s era of Canadian coinage and the beaver design, and if you are building a date set or filling holes, it's a natural component. Plus, who knows, if later someone discovers a rare variety or error variant of this date, you'll already have the date covered. In closing, the 1976 Canadian 5-cent coin no mint mark in uncirculated condition is a common but still collectible piece. Its value for typical uncirculated examples may run up to about CA $16, or equivalent in USD, in good condition, with premiums for higher grades. Always check condition, consider grading, verify authenticity, and shop carefully. And remember, subscribe, click like, leave comments, and turn on notifications so you'll be first to know when I upload the next up. The 1978 edition was struck by the Royal Canadian Mint, RCM, and carried the standard beaver on a rock reverse design by designer George Kruger Gray, and the obverse featuring Queen Elizabeth II. According to catalog data for the year 1978, KM #60.1 for Canada 5C, the mintage was very large. In fact, mintage is listed as 137,079,273 coins for the 1978 no mint mark variety. What this tells us is that the coin is not rare in terms of total production. No mint mark mean in this context? Some coins carry a mint mark to indicate which facility produced them. For Canadian coins of that era, the absence of a mint mark is standard for the Ottawa facility, whereas later or special issues may carry marks or other identifiers. In the case of 1978 Canada 5C, the no mint mark simply means the standard circulation strike without any additional mint mark. As the mintage figure above shows, there were a lot of them produced. Because of that high mintage, one might think that the value of an uncirculated specimen would not be huge, but condition and demand still matter. The 1978 Canadian 5-cent coin weighs around 4.54 grams and has a diameter of about 21.2 millimeters. Composition in those years was nickel, assuming the pre-plated steel change, 99% nickel as given in the catalog, though note that later years changed to steel base. The design features the beaver on the rock, reverse, and Elizabeth II D.G. Regina on the obverse. So when you're checking an example, ensure the correct date, 1978, is clearly present, the design is crisp, and the coin matches these specs. Now on to uncirculated condition. In numismatic terms, uncirculated means little to no wear, original mint luster present, and no obvious contact marks or damage. For a coin from 1978 to be truly uncirculated, sometimes graded MS60 and above, means it has survived decades without being worn by circulation. For collectors, the difference between a typical BU, brilliant uncirculated, coin and one that is lightly handled or has bag marks is significant. The pricing for uncirculated coins takes into account the grade, MS60, MS63, MS65, etc. According to catalogs, the general values for the 1978 no mint Mark 5 cent in typical circulated condition are very modest. For example, the NGC World Coin Price Guide lists values often in the tens of dollars or less for low grades. But for uncirculated condition, and particularly higher mint state grades, the price may rise. So what is the current approximate value or dollar worth for a 1978 Canada 5C no mint mark in uncirculated condition? Based on the data I found, it appears that this coin is still relatively common, even in uncirculated condition, because of the large mintage. For example, some listings show ungraded uncirculated pieces available for very low amounts. For example, one listing on eBay had it for US $1.50. The price guide for circulated/rough conditions lists values under $1 up to maybe $35 for higher circulated grades. Therefore, unless the coin is exceptionally graded, e.g., MS65+, certified by a major grading service with full mint luster and untouched surfaces, you might expect a modest premium above face value. In short, the value for an uncirculated example might be perhaps a few dollars or tens of dollars, but not hundreds or thousands for the standard variety. Now, if you're doing a subscription angle, i.e., you're making content for subscribers or you're encouraging viewers to subscribe, you can frame it like, if you found a 1978 Canada 5C no mint mark in your pocket change, uncirculated, you're ahead. You might want to hold it and get it graded because many people overlook these modest coins. Subscribe for more coin value deep dives, and I'll keep you updated when any of these common but uncirculated coins start moving in value. The key message is, large mintage equals common, so value tends to be modest, but condition and rarity of errors/varieties can change that dynamic. Ask your subscribers to check for bag marks, luster, strike quality, and whether the coin is truly mint state. What to look out for when buying or valuing? First, verify that it is indeed the 1978 date and that there is no mint mark, which for this issue is correct. Ensure that it is in uncirculated condition, no visible wear on the high points, full luster, minimal contact marks. If you are considering getting it graded by one of the professional services, e.g., Numismatic Guarantee Corporation, NGC, or Professional Coin Grading Service, PCGS, be prepared for grading fees, shipping, and the risk that the coin may grade lower than you expect, and thus not command a major premium. Also check for any special varieties or errors, although for this date the main variety is the standard one. If you find a bug-face beaver error or other anomaly, as I saw one eBay listing, that may command more. Caveats and market outlook. Because there are over 137 million coins minted in 1978 for this variety, supply is abundant. That generally keeps prices low unless condition is exceptional or an error/rarity is involved. Also, market demand for Canadian nickels is modest compared to more exotic world coins or rare varieties. Be cautious of sellers asking very high premiums for uncirculated coins without certification. The coin may appear uncirculated but still have subtle wear or cleaning which diminishes value. Always compare to recently realized sale prices, not just asking prices. The catalog I referenced warns that their values are averages and may not reflect short-term pricing extremes. The 1978 Canada 5-cent coin with no mint mark in uncirculated condition is a solid, approachable coin for collectors, especially at modest cost. It's not likely to be a $1 million coin by any stretch unless you discover a rare error or an ultra-high-grade survivor. But it offers a nice way to include a Canadian nickel in your collection, especially one that's seen minimal wear. If you subscribe to our channel or follow our content, we'll track when any of these common-date, high-grade coins start showing unusual demand. Until then, if you own one, keep it safe, consider getting it certified if you believe it's exceptional, and compare it to recent sales to gauge its true market value. Thanks for watching, and don't forget to hit subscribe for more coin collecting insights next up. The Canadian 5-cent coin has featured the iconic beaver on a rock on the reverse since 1937, designed by George E. Kruger Gray, and the obverse with a portrait of Queen Elizabeth II, in the 1970s one of the standard effigies. The 1979 issue, no mint mark, is a standard circulation strike produced by the Royal Canadian Mint, Ottawa, for general commerce. It uses the same design motifs as earlier years. Because it was made in large numbers for everyday use, many examples survive, so from a rarity standpoint it is not scarce in low grade. Specifically for the 1979 5-cent, no mint mark, the published mintage is 186,295,825 coins. That's nearly 186 million units, a very high number, which means that supply is abundant. The composition of the coin, according to the standard specifications, it weighs about 4.54 g and has a diameter of about 21.21 millimeters. The metal is nickel or a nickel alloy, since this period pre the newer plated steel issues. So any uncirculated piece would be one of many, but condition still plays a big role. Now, what about no mint mark? In many coin series worldwide, mint marks indicate which facility struck a coin, for example Philadelphia, P, Denver, D, or Winnipeg, W. In the Canadian 5-cent series of that era, circulation strikes generally did not carry an explicit mint mark, so the 1979 piece you're looking at is the standard no mint mark variety, representing the Ottawa output. Because nearly every coin of that date is of that variety, the lack of a mint mark does not automatically confer rarity, it's simply normal. So while there's nothing inherently special in the no mint mark for this year, what does matter is the condition, and any unusual variety or error. Let's talk condition. Uncirculated means the coin shows no wear from circulation. All the original mint luster is present, the surfaces are free of or have minimal contact marks, and the strike is crisp. In numismatic grading terms that might be MS60, MS63, MS65 etc., or UNC for uncirculated. A 1979 5-cent that has never been in a pocket or used in change and retains full mint condition is therefore more desirable than one that has heavy marks or wear. For your subscribers, remind them that looks like new isn't always true uncirculated. Inspect for subtle wear, toning, bag marks, cleaning, and certification if required. What about the dollar or currency value for such a coin? According to multiple online guides, for circulated 1,979 5-cent pieces values are very modest. For instance, one site lists circulated values in Canadian dollars around 10 cents, about US 7 to 8 cents, for typical worn specimens. For mint state, uncirculated, examples the same guide lists values like 25 cents for MS60, 50 cents for MS62, 1 Canadian dollar and 5 cents for MS63, 9 Canadian dollars and 10 cents for MS64, and 23 Canadian dollars and 60 cents for MS65. So while the coin is far from rare, decent uncirculated examples can command premiums over face value, but we are not talking hundreds of dollars in typical cases. If we convert that into approximate US dollar values, just as a rough guide, and interpret for a strong uncirculated example, say an MS65 listed at 23 Canadian dollars and 60 cents might translate, depending on exchange rate, to US $17 to $20 or so. If there's an ultra-high grade example, say MS66 or above, it may fetch more. One listing noted an ICCS certified MS65 uncirculated 1979 5-cent selling for $30 USD. So if your viewer finds a coin in about 40 mint, if you mean around grade MS40, which is lower mint state but still uncirculated/unworn, the value might be modest, perhaps a few dollars above face. If it is a higher grade, MS65 plus, then the premium grows. In terms of subscriber engagement and worth content, you can encourage viewers to check their change, wallets, piggy banks for a 1979 Canadian 5-cent that looks never used. Ask them to look for deep original luster, full detail on the beaver, no wear on the high points, minimal marks, and original patina, if any. Mention that because this date has such a large mintage, clearance-level uncirculated examples might cost only modestly above face, so it's a great entry piece for collectors. If they find one and it grades very high, say MS66 or MS67 certified, it may be a steal compared to rarer coins. Invite them to subscribe and hit the notification bell for more coin value hunts. However, it's important to include caveats. A high mintage means this coin is common in the context of world coins. The big challenge is getting truly excellent condition. Many supposedly uncirculated coins have bag marks, stray handling marks, or have been cleaned or altered, which reduces value significantly. Also, market demand for a standard Canadian 5-cent from 1979, while steady among world coin collectors or Canadian specialists, is modest compared to rare date coins or specialty issues. Always compare realized sale prices, what coins sold for, not just listed asking prices. Encourage viewers to look for certification from a reputable grading service, e.g., Numismatic Guarantee Corporation, NGC, or Professional Coin Grading Service, PCGS, and be cautious if the coin shows unusual toning, wear, or cleaning. In summary, the 1979 Canada 5-cent, no mint mark, in uncirculated condition is a collectible that offers an affordable entry point into Canadian numismatics. It's not exceptionally rare due to its high mintage, 186 million plus, but in high grade it still commands value above face. If you or your subscribers find one in nearly mint condition, it's worth checking and perhaps getting graded. If you're making content, you could show side-by-side examples of circulated versus uncirculated, talk about grading steps, and invite viewers to comment if they found one. Thanks for watching.